Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I am Stacey Earlywine, and we have a fun show today. We're going to talk about a gentleman from the Clay City area that was a war hero and went on to play Major League Baseball, which is cool.
Yeah, cool.
I've always heard about this gentleman, but I had no idea, and I didn't know much about him. But,
okay.
Yeah, it was fun. Nice looking fella too.
Oh, really? Well, I'm excited now.
What's on the game plan today? What are we doing?
Gosh.
Anything fun?
No, nothing fun. Just things like orthodontist appointments with my kids. And Silas has his first practice tonight for Little League. His Little League team.
Awesome.
It's baseball season, folks. I mean, it's that time of year where...
What Little League team is he on?
Rotary.
Rotary, awesome.
He's on Rotary this year.
How does that work? Do they pick them? It's been a long time since my boys have been in Little League.
They have this, kind of a day where everyone goes and plays around, and then the coaches pick who they want on their teams.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He likes baseball, doesn't he?
He does love baseball.
Is that the only sport he really likes?
That's the only sport he really likes, and he loves it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what sport he doesn't like?
What?
Spreading mulch.
Oh, really? Stacey recently hired him to work for her and spread some mulch. Now, he said that it went well.
It did go well, but I don't think he loved it
no, I don't think that he loved it, but he did do it.
He did do it.
Yes.
He did do it. But, so I don't know. We've got a busy you're the one that always knows when everything airs, but we have a very, very busy week ahead of us. We have the Nostalgia Theater show.
Yes, so
this weekend.
This episode is probably going to air on Thursday or Friday, and our show is Friday. It opens on Friday night. We have Friday night and Saturday night at 7 p.m. at Nostalgia Theater, which was formerly the Town Theater in downtown Flora. The show is called It Happened on Route 66.
You are going to love this show. It is fantastic. It's the 50s, 1955 setting. It is a diner setting. The music is awesome.
The music is really
good. I love
good.
the 50s.
Yeah.
The costumes, I have a feeling, are going to be really good. Jim has bought 2 new costumes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God. I don't know. But I'm going to have I need 2 theaters to take care of Jim's costumes.
Yeah, you need a whole other building for
Good
that.
night.
Use as the closet.
At least I'm using my poodle skirt from back in the day. Even though I had to add a panel.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun show. I'm really looking forward to it. You can purchase tickets prior at my hair salon is right in there in the theater Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or you can buy them at the door.
There'll be plenty
of
at the door.
It's going to be it's a good time. If you people are always saying there's nothing to do in Flora, but this weekend there's a play going on.
There's a great play. $10 a person.
And the thing about it is it's for a great cause. We are still trying to remodel the Town Theater. We have to have a grant. We continue getting turned down for grants, but we need a grant for the roof, for the ceiling and the floor. But other than that, we can get the building going.
We can use the building.
We can use the building totally.
It's a great building.
It's beautiful inside there too.
It's really pretty.
We're ready to go with a venue where we can do a total venue now. We can do weddings, we can do class reunions, and we're really excited about that. And the more we do this year, I'm excited because we have been able to raise enough money where I can give away my first scholarship, and that was the whole intent behind taking the Town Theater. Not only to restore a building downtown. I'm all about history and restoring buildings. Not only to do that, but to give away proceeds. And we've raised enough money where I can actually give away. We're giving away a $500 scholarship to one of the kids in the music program at the high school.
So we do a children's play at Christmas time, and one of our goals with starting Nostalgia Theater was that we would have something for these kids. Not everybody loves sports.
No.
And there's a lot of sports in Clay County, but there wasn't a lot of arts. So our goal was to bring the arts to Clay County, to bring community theater to Clay County, and to really give these kids that love the stage, love to sing, love the arts, something to do. And to watch some of these kids that have been in, now it's like they're in their 4th play, their 5th play, they have came out of their shells, some of them. Oh,
absolutely.
And, it is a really cool thing to see. And it makes me proud that we had just a tiny bit to do with, helping them on their journey.
Yeah, and you can see the growth of the kids. Some of the kids come to us with a full-blown, I'm here and I'm ready to go. And then there are some kids that come in and you can just see them. You can see that shell
They want
crack.
to do it, but they're a little shy.
Yeah.
And so
it's been a lot of fun, but yeah, you're not
going
to want to miss this.
So
you're not going to want to miss this weekend. It's going to be awesome.
Great play.
Great play. Okay, what ad did I pick today?
Oh, let's see.
I can't remember. First off, wait a minute. I got to talk about this magazine again. I've never heard of this magazine.
Are you talking about the Dirty magazine?
Well, it does say The Man's Magazine, and it does say True on it. I mean, okay, just real quick. The title of the front, and I'll let let's just see this magazine, Jansen. Look at this magazine right here. Yeah. Okay, True. Look at this cover. Okay, there's George Washington. There's a cocktail. There's a gun. Okay, right here. Where's my right here? Red Rape: The Final Agony of Berlin.
Oh my!
How the charity rackets pick your pockets while America slept the week before Pearl Harbor. I mean, look at this magazine. I got it from Don Thomas.
Yeah.
And, it's really cool, but...
and the date is 1961, right?
65.
65.
But look, this is right here. Where's my finger? Right here is a picture of is that Mount Vernon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just a very interesting magazine.
And some of the ads in there are a little bit risque for the time.
You know
this is not really a dirty magazine, but it was definitely made for men because it had scantily clad women in the advertisements.
Okay, Jansen, we're not done. Okay, so I'm looking at this. This cracks me up. Girl watching on the Riviera's Bikini Beach. Okay, Jansen, look at this. Okay, look at this. Where are we at? So here's the guy. Okay, he's supposed to be reading the paper. But look at that girl up there.
Yeah.
Look at her walking around. Okay, I'm not done, Jansen. Let me flip the page. This is hysterical. Okay, so then let's go to these two pages. This is hysterical. So, see them? Look at those pictures. So it's like girls in bikinis.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep, from the 60s.
From the 60s.
I believe this is the type of magazine that a younger man would probably not have wanted his mother to find out that he owned.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's absolutely hysterical. Pretty risque, I thought, for 19.
I think so, too.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But you did pick an ad out of it.
I did pick an ad.
Risque.
I did pick an ad that wasn't risque. I don't know. It's just so funny. I can't. Mm-hmm. But those girls are super skinny. You know why they were skinny? Because McDonald's hasn't been.
Yeah, well, might have been about the time McDonald's started, but they didn't have all the sugar in their diet that we have and all of the.
Well, when they got a Coke, it was this big, not my
32 ounce.
But I drink Diet Coke, so it shouldn't count. Okay.
Okay.
So this ad, I don't know. I don't smoke.
I don't smoke.
I don't smoke either. But I've never heard of these cigarettes. These ads. The last ad I pulled was that vehicle.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of how do you say it?
Terryton.
Terryton's got it. Hungry for flavor? Okay, I don't smoke, so I don't understand how a cigarette has flavor.
Flavor you never thought you'd get from any filter cigarette.
Right.
You'll never know how satisfying filter smoking can be until you try Terryton's. Fine, flavor-rich tobaccos go into each Terryton. Then the famous dual filter brings out the best taste of these
choice tobaccos.
Yeah. Sound too good to be true?
Pretty much.
Oh, pick up a pack of Terryton today and see for yourself.
Dual filter Terryton.
I think this is at the time where, like, before this, cigarettes didn't have filters, and then after this, they did, and so people were used to getting more of a real tobacco-y flavor.
Yeah, but
and then they put a filter on there.
Yeah, but what does tobacco taste like?
I don't know.
But he's kind of a cute little. I like his hair. But yeah, I just like that. I've never heard of those. So this I have a feeling you guys are going to be getting a lot of ads from this magazine because it's full of just stuff I've never even heard of. Well, and I've got to read. Okay, so one time I made a mistake on the show, only one, and it was funny because remember when I pulled out that joke book and I started reading one joke?
Oh, and they were dirty. They were dirty. I'm like, no, don't. Bad idea.
Yeah, that is a bad idea. So then I like looking through here. I'm like, oh, these are fun. Our little short paragraphs that men wrote. I'll read through them first before I
pick one.
Pick one. Yeah. Yeah. I might get in trouble.
Okay. Well, don't say anything inappropriate.
Me?
Yeah.
Would I ever?
Well, I don't know. If you're just reading, sometimes you don't realize until you've already blurted it out.
Well, yeah, like that funny joke book that was really, and some of those jokes I didn't even understand.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Of course, I am that person. I am the person that can, what was it? There was one that came on Facebook the other day. And I can't remember what, and I read it, and I'm like, and Jim was laying on the couch, and I read it to him, and he's like, Stacey, the bear has paws. And I'm like, oh. I read it over and over. Are you one of those? Do you get jokes all the time?
I usually get them, yeah. But,
do you?
But I don't know. I can remember when you had that book, and they just didn't, I think because they were like old-fashioned jokes. Oh. And like, they weren't, it wasn't relevant anymore. Like the joke didn't make sense because it was about something that didn't matter.
Yeah, I'm totally that person though. But I like to tell jokes. Sometimes I can tell jokes, but a lot of times I get to the punchline and like, oh God, how did that go? And there's nothing worse than having that person that thinks they can tell jokes, but they can't tell jokes.
Oh yeah,
that's me. Now, Jim, you get Jim started. You might as well plan on being in my house for the next 3 hours because they're just going to start spilling out. At me. He remembers jokes from back that he told me.
Yeah, I hear a good joke and I'm like, I'm gonna remember that one because that's really good. I'm gonna remember that one and don't know. 20 seconds later, it's like I couldn't even tell you.
Well, I couldn't even tell you. I've tried to think of one, the one joke that I have that I'm like, oh, and I have remembered. Now it escapes me. I don't know what it is. I can't be put on the spot. I don't know what it is now. It's like I don't know what that joke is. I loved it. What is that joke?
I don't know.
But our preacher, we have a new preacher at the church. His name is Jerry Kazir, and he is funny. And I love a preacher that tells jokes. Do you like that with a preacher? Like, you know, because you gotta find out where your church crowd's at. They're either still sleeping or they're ready to go. And you can always tell by that first joke that a preacher cracks. If they get it, it's going to be a good buddy. But everybody goes, oh, what? Did he just say something? Then it's a totally different ball game. Right. So it's very fun. But anyway, we're going to jump into our show here. And then we've picked I don't know, we're just going to talk about
a little bit of mishmash going on.
We do. It's one of those, not one
because so many of the history stories that we pick up are not long enough to make an entire episode from. So we just gather the short stories, and then every now and then we have an episode that's just full of short stories.
I'm going to lay some money down that the people that watch our show like a little chaos.
I would wager that you are correct.
I think I'm right. Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and we will be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey.
What's so fun? I didn't even do anything right now.
No, I was just thinking about your chaos comment. And it's just kind of like that around here sometimes. We're just a little chaotic, but we hit all the right points, so we're good.
My life is chaos. I am a rabbit chaser. I'll go off on it. And Jim will be like, where did your mind just go? It's like, I don't know, there's like 20 things in there. Yeah,
we may each have a touch of ADHD sometimes.
I think I may have a whole pot full. I'm almost positive. I didn't realize that. When did I realize that? Oh my gosh! I got to tell you guys a story. I'm gonna take my glasses off. Okay, so I realized that I have serious OCD. Okay.
Really?
Yes. So my grandchildren and I, we've started buying those little concrete things, and we like to paint them. We started off with our first turtle. So we got this really cute.
Just like little concrete things you put out in your yard?
You betcha.
Okay.
And I'm like, how much fun was that for me and Jack and Joanna to paint? Okay, well, and Jim actually videotaped me. This is bad. So, we got all the paint set out. We're at my dining room table. Everybody's got their little bibs on, and we're going. And Jack's like this, and I'm like, okay, because you got the little.
Couldn't stand it.
And then Joanna's like, dude, I'm like, oh no, sissy, here, and I literally take my granddaughter's hand and like this. This is how you get, and it was driving me crazy because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it. So they got bored with it, and then long story short, I ended up.
You went and fixed it all, didn't you?
Finished everything, and then I cleaned it all up. My sister Linda was over at the house for Easter, and Linda started telling me the same story. She's like, oh my gosh, is that the turtle that you and Jack and Joanna painted? I said, yes, it is. She said, how did you get that to look so good? And I'm like, well, they're just really talented artists. And Jim was like, let me pull up the video of y'all going.
You were trying to act like your grandkids are just
and then he even
Mozart.
And then after they're over there watching, Bugs Bunny, I'm at the table very, very particular.
Oh my gosh.
They did that, and Linda was like, you big liar.
Yep.
Yeah, because she said it's chaos when her and Adley and Zuri, those are her granddaughters, when they do it. She's like, oh my God. I'm like, I totally lied. Mm-hmm. I am that yaya.
That's okay.
It's okay to be a lying yaya.
It's okay. It doesn't really matter. And our quote on another show was like, what about be happy with your failures or something?
Yeah,
and
unless you're painting a turtle.
Yeah, unless you're painting a turtle.
Well, it's right at the back. Every time I walk by the back door, Jack put it right there. Like, I cannot have a... So I think I have serious OCD now.
Uh-huh. You have to have it just right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like big time. Yeah, it's bad. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, let's talk about
what are we
this
gonna
guy.
talk about?
His name is Adam Smith, and he is a Clay County hero. His full name is Andy Edwin Smith. Andy grew up in the Louisville area.
Hang on a second. His name's Andy Edwin. They called him Adam?
Did I say Adam?
Yeah.
Am I thinking of Melissa Smith's husband,
Yes,
Adam?
you are.
No. Let me start over.
Okay.
Andy Edwin Smith.
Okay.
I think maybe the Ann and the Win turned into Adam with the D in the middle.
Okay. So
remember when I talked about
we're diagnosing you with everything today. She's got ADHD. She's got what was the other thing you said you had? And now dyslexia. So
what? I don't know. Jansen's in the studio with us. She's got to be kicked out because she just pointed out I've made 2 mistakes today. Oh, funny.
Okay,
funny,
keep going.
Funny. My failure.
Andy Smith.
Andy Smith.
War hero,
and Major League Baseball player.
Okay.
Very interesting story. Andy grew up in the Louisville area, the son of Noah and Minnie Lewis Smith. Born April 28, 1920 in Clay County. He attended schools in Iola and Louisville and entered the service with the U.S. Army in 1940. It was during this time, while serving in the Army, that he became a member of the Alamo Scouts, 6th Army. Now, I don't think we've ever come across anything called the Alamo Scouts.
The Alamo Scouts. So I'm just taking that for what it is. But, I mean, was that the group of people who went down to the Alamo?
That's what I'm wondering. It doesn't go into much detail about that, but that is kind of an interesting thought.
Okay.
This was a highly elite unit of the service, which was to play a very vital role of the 6th Army intelligence during World War II.
Well, the Alamo was way before World War II.
It was way before, so it doesn't have
Maybe
anything
they
to do
just
with that.
named that in honor of the Alamo.
Yeah, you could be right.
Keep going.
Keep going. The group formed in 1943 performed over 100 missions, mostly in New Guinea and in the Philippines, deep behind enemy lines. Because really, when you hear about the Alamo, you only think about the Alamo. Mm-hmm. It does have me wondering now. These scouts were volunteers who would undergo excruciating training before being accepted into the unit. So maybe this is before the SEALs.
Yeah. Maybe they called it the Alamo Scouts in honor of the Alamo because the people in the Alamo, weren't they like behind enemy lines or whatever?
Absolutely.
And these men were also behind enemy lines.
So maybe that was like that elite unit of people, of men, before you had like your Green Berets and your Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
Because those Navy SEALs, they are tough. Whoa, they're tough. I can't even imagine.
I am so far away from a Navy SEAL. Like, I am such the opposite. I can't even, not only could I not do what they do, I can't even hardly watch a TV show about it.
No, it makes me nervous wreck.
It makes me nervous wreck just to know what they do. Like, how long they have to be underwater and how long they have to be.
Yeah, they darn near drowned them.
Yeah. It's crazy. If you've never researched that, I mean, you should, because it's insane. It's
kind of like watching the TV show Naked and Afraid. I can never do that either.
No.
That is a train wreck that you can't stop watching.
Yes.
Do you ever watch it?
I've watched it once or twice, and
I've watched it a couple times. I don't understand, though, but literally, like, if I was, I wouldn't even make it out of the back of the car.
I think there's two types of people.
The road getting me there would probably be a little rough with me if I didn't have a Diet Coke.
I'd have a migraine by 10 a.m., like, seriously. So there's two types of people in this world. The people that can be on adventure reality TV shows like Naked and Afraid or Survivor or even the Amazing Race. And then there's people like me and Stacey who sit on the couch and watch those shows.
That's right.
Those are the two types. You're either one or you're the other.
I will be. My sister Linda loved the Amazing Race. She was like, Stacey, me and you would need to go on the Amazing Race. We would be hysterical. I'm like, I agree with that. We would be hysterical, but we would get lost getting out of the parking lot. Yeah. We wouldn't even be able to make it anyway. So, Linda's always like, let's go on Amazing Race.
My mom loves the Amazing Race. She actually made a video to be on it.
Your mother?
Mm-hmm. Like, Mom, what's it been, like 10, 15 years ago? I don't know. She's not here today, but she's watching. Yeah.
That's cool.
She would have done a really good job, too, because she can figure out puzzles and she's smart.
Oh, I'd be, no, I could be comic factor in it, but I couldn't do anything else.
Yep.
Okay, see, we just tasted a big rabbit that time.
Okay, keep going.
Now where am I at? Okay. Yeah, so now these guys go to New Guinea, and they are in the Philippines, deep behind enemy lines. They were, this is interesting. So these Alamo scouts, they were tested with interviews for observation and honesty, as well as grueling training in survival, karate, self-defense, and most of all, physical endurance. Many did not pass, but Andy Smith did. Yeah. The Alamo Scouts were indeed special. Their many daring missions often included going into enemy territory to rescue American prisoners. Ooh, so they were basically like Rambo.
Yeah.
They were Rambos. Oh, wow. They were trained at walking miles with packs, hiding in the jungle and grasses, and swimming great distances in full gear. No.
They had to be all muscle. This guy had to be really built. I bet he was very strong.
Yeah, let's show a picture of him. Yeah, you could tell he's kind of a Brutus guy.
Okay.
Look at him. Look at him. He is very handsome.
Mm-hmm. He's muscle, but he's not like heavy.
He is.
Yeah.
I call him chiseled. Look at that jawline.
I call him chiseled, too.
I call him chiseled.
Uh-huh.
He was full of grit and gumption. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's
what
Andy
year,
Smith.
How old do you think he was there?
He was born in 1920.
So this was probably about the time he left for World War II.
Yeah.
This was.
Yeah, wow. He's a very handsome fella, and you could tell that he's probably
born and bred in Louisville.
Yep, right? Born and bred in Louisville.
Okay, let's keep going.
One of their most famous missions was the raid of Cabanatuan in the Philippines, where they were successful in rescuing over 100 Americans.
That's awesome. Thank God for him, huh?
He is a war hero.
Yeah, he is. I hope he got a lot of awards.
Well, he did.
Okay, good.
This is where it gets a little bit interesting, too. Okay. When Andy left the military at the end of the war, he went into his favorite pastime. He played minor league baseball in Florida and in Decatur with the White Sox, the Cleveland Indians, and the St. Louis Browns.
Cool.
Yeah. How interesting is that?
Yeah.
So he's big war hero, beefy guy, Alamo Scout, baseball player. Then he came back and went, and after he got done playing baseball, he went into the Korean War. I wonder if my dad knew him. My dad was in the Korean War.
Wow.
I'll have to go through. They have yearbooks from wars. Have you ever seen those? My dad's got a Korean yearbook with like all the battles and stuff and all the pictures. It's just like a yearbook, but it's Korean. Have you ever seen one of those?
No.
Maybe that would be an interesting. I'll have to dig out that book.
Dig that out. Let's do a show on that.
We will. He was recalled to active duty during the Korean conflict and again during the Vietnam War.
Holy cow! So he served in 3 wars.
3 wars this guy did. Yeah.
And I bet he has descendants here. I mean, my gosh, there's so many Smiths and Lewises.
Absolutely. During the Vietnam War, where he worked as a case officer with Army intelligence. He later taught a number of department schools, including the United States Army Intelligence Center and school at Fort Huachuca, Arizona, and retired with the rank Master Sergeant.
So he went into intelligence, then he began teaching intelligence.
Yeah.
In Arizona for the Army. Wowzers. You got to be really smart and experienced to do that.
I really like this guy's really coming right up.
And you know what? It makes me sad like men like this are sort of forgotten because they really are the heroes. Like these are the people that should be on magazine covers and these are the people that should have some fame instead of,
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree with it.
Yep.
During his 26 years of service,
wow,
he earned the Silver Star for gallantry in action, the Purple Heart for being wounded in action, 4 Bronze Stars for distinguished service, 2 Presidential Unit Citation emblems, a medal for Vietnam, and the patch of the Alamo Scouts, which he prized so much.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
I'm glad they honored him.
Me too. Andy Edwin Smith died on January 18th, 2000, at the age of 79.
Wow. Well, good for him. That really wasn't that long ago, really.
Services were held in Louisville, and he was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia.
Oh, that gave me chills.
It gave me chills, too.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. Well,
so
good for him.
He was definitely something special.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, Andy Smith.
Wow, very cool.
Clay County hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I've always wanted, like I said, Beth and I visited Don Thomas the other day. I'm going to keep his little picture right here. We got this is one of the piecing together the past that Rena, his wife, did, and he let me take this. And I started reading because we come across a lot of war heroes and stuff, but I wanted to find the one that actually went and played baseball too. What an amazing man Andy Smith was.
Yeah.
We could get on there and find out, like, I'm sure he was married and had children, so we'll have to do some investigating. But we are going to come right back after this commercial break.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank. We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're talking about several different things, but Stacey just finished a story about a war hero, and I'm going to talk about another war hero.
Let's do that.
I'm going to talk about David Worthey. So David Worthey was the first man from Clay County that was killed in the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And he is who Worthey Street is named for. So everyone knows Worthey Street in Flora. It's the road that Walmart is on, Ace Hardware's on. That's Worthey Street. And there's a reason it's named Worthey, and it is because of David Worthey, which I think was an excellent way to honor him.
Oh, I think it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. And I like sharing this story because I want even the young people in Florida to know there's a reason that's Worthey, and there's a reason it's Worthey, because that was his last name. If you were worthy of something, it would be without an EY at the end. It would just be Y then.
Okay,
anyway,
the English police is coming out. There she goes.
Try to keep her tamped down. So, okay. So he was serving in Vietnam, and he was not a real big, wide guy. He was slender. Okay, this is important to the story. So when they got over there and the Vietnam War started, the Americans discovered that the Viet Cong had perfected guerrilla warfare. They would attack the Americans, and then they would just poof, disappear into thin air. Where did they go? Well, you never, and they could poof and appear too, because you never knew where they were coming from or where they were going or how they got there. So that was one of the really difficult parts in the beginning of the war, is to figure out how they were appearing and disappearing so quickly. And in 1966, they figured it out, and they realized that the Viet Cong, the Vietnamese, had tunnels. Okay, so the Viet Cong had actually been at war since the 1940s, really, with somebody at some time. They fought the French, they fought the Australians, the Americans. There was just this, they were just constantly in war. And so they perfected these small tunnels, and they just dug them out. They used the village people. That sounds like a silly way to say it. That's not what I mean. The village laborers, the laymen in the villages, to dig these tunnels with gardening hose and baskets.
Good Lord.
And then they carried the dirt out. And these tunnels were ingenious because they were crooked. They were not straight at all. And they even had like complete U-bends in them. So that meant that you could not shoot through them. So if you were crawling through and there was a bad guy in front of you, you couldn't shoot because they could just take the turn. You you couldn't throw grenades in there, and they were set up in a way where the bins would trap poisonous gases. So if they didn't want you in that tunnel, they would trap poisonous gases in there.
Wow.
So that if you were crawling through, you would hit the gas and be killed.
That's not something.
They were extremely dangerous. And so there was also kind of different levels of these tunnels, and they had the different levels were separated by watertight trap doors, and then that would seal off the rest of the system against any gas or flooding. So if they did put gas in there, they had these watertight doors, and they would shut the door, and then none of the gas could go into the rest of the tunnel system. I mean, they had it down to a real art on these things. But they even had trap doors that would make you think that you were at a dead end, but you were really at a door that led into a huge system of other passages. So, I mean, it was just this complete kind of underground tunnel system that was like all over Vietnam. And this was the way that the Viet Cong soldiers were just poof appearing and poof disappearing. Okay. They even had underground kitchens, underground hospitals, an entire hospital, air raid shelters, storerooms, workshops, latrines. Wow. So they could go underground. Some went down 18 feet and covered over 200 miles. Let's just put that in perspective for a minute, just 200 miles. Okay, if we were to dig right now 18 feet below Louisville, which is where we are, and we were to go out 200 miles, we would be on the other side of St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
St. Louis is what, about 150 miles, Ty? Google a 200-mile radius around Louisville, please, and let's just see what that would include.
And we're talking, these aren't backhoes, people. No, we're talking.
Yeah, these men and women dug that out by hand. And here's another thing. Have you ever watched any of those videos on like YouTube or like one of those short reels on Facebook where there's people in Vietnam or that part of the world and they start digging and they'll dig down and make these cool little houses and stuff in the ground. And sometimes they even fish. They'll dig a hole in the ground and fish will start coming through it because they're near water. Their earth is not like ours. Like ours is more dirt and clay. Here. Even in like northern Illinois, it's just more of that just really nice, earthy, dark dirt. But over there, it's not. It's a very different texture from what I can tell from the videos I've watched. Almost like more of a sandy, but also it would stick together. So if you dig a hole, like it stays. Like it doesn't want to collapse back in. I don't know. I think they just had the right earth for it.
It would have to be exhausting because, like, I just pulled out one plant and dug a little bit of hole and put another plant in. And I was tired.
Yeah. So here's an interesting thing.
Wow.
So the Viet Cong, they would even bury their dead down there in those tunnels into the walls because if they couldn't bury them above ground, like if it was too dangerous to come up and like dig a new hole for the dead, then they would just dig into the sidewalls of the tunnels and bury them in there.
Wow. Ty, you got our 200-mile radius?
What? Let's see what it includes. Can we put that on there? Okay, so if we started right here where we are, we would be, I can't even tell heads or tails of that, what that would include. That's not, the circle is Louisville. That can't be. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So we are almost to Chicago. We would be almost to Chicago.
Yep.
And we would be let's go down a little bit there. I can't tell what's off to the west.
That's interesting.
Almost to Jefferson City, Missouri.
And how far south?
And as far south as Nashville. So from Nashville to Chicago, north and south, and from Jefferson City, Missouri, to the west. And how far are we going over to the east?
We're just shy of Cincinnati.
Just shy of Cincinnati.
Wow.
That's a 200-mile radius there. That's as big as they could make those tunnels. So they had, and I don't even know, that would be a lot of the country. So
look at that. It's almost all of Illinois.
Yeah, and that would be how big that whole tunnel system was. So no wonder they had kitchens down there. No wonder they had hospitals and air raid shelters and storerooms and all of those things. But that's just, but the tunnel part that came off of these big sections were tiny. They were narrow, and only certain men could climb through them. So David Worthey was one of these men. He was the men that were chosen to do this were called tunnel rats, and it was the most dangerous job that there was. And so David Worthey did that, and I just can't even imagine crawling in there. Period. But then to know that there was like dead bodies buried on the edges of it, like that just even makes it grosser. Okay, so that tunnel system was discovered, so they had to find a way to fight the Viet Cong in those tunnels.
In the tunnels.
So the tunnel rat job was created, and they did not recruit people for that. The American Army did not recruit people for that. They had volunteers. That's how the men felt about it. The men volunteered to do it. A special requirement of the job was that you had to be short. You had to be shorter than 5'6".
Yeah.
David Worthey was 5'5", so he qualified. He was a good marksman because he had grown up in Clay County and was a hunter. And he was willing to take the risk. He ended up giving his life for this risk. So they had to crawl through narrow, pitch-black tunnels, looking for the enemy, hoping that the enemy would not find them first. They had to be able to think under insane pressure, so you would know what was okay to touch and what you needed to avoid. Every tunnel was booby-trapped. So if that wasn't enough, there were also natural enemies to contend with, including bats,
I was gonna say,
rats, spiders,
snakes,
ants,
who knows?
scorpions.
Ugh.
And some of those were actually placed by the Viet Cong. So they would place scorpions and things like that inside the tunnels on purpose. Each tunnel rat was armed with a flashlight, a knife, and a pistol. You couldn't carry anything else because there just wasn't room. And you had to stay calm. So some guys just couldn't take it, and they would come back out screaming and crying.
Just forget the claustrophobia.
And then they would never go back in. Yeah. I mean, enough to make grown men scream and cry. So that I can't even imagine. So they were on search and destroy missions is what they were doing. So their job was to kill the hiding enemy and then plant explosives to destroy the tunnels. And then also find any counterintelligence if there was any. Whenever a suspicious hole was found in the ground, the tunnel rat was called. They had to go check it out. And a lot of times there was a Viet Cong soldier already in the tunnel. So they would have hand-to-hand combat in the tunnel.
And you're laying down.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, and you're on your belly.
You're
on your belly. And
you
then
can't see a thing.
And then you're just like, I don't know, punching, and I don't even know. So
I don't either.
Anyway, he was actually in a tunnel and overtaken by poisonous nerve gas, which was one of their booby traps.
Oh man!
And he passed away, but it took a month for them to send home his body to Clay County
because how would you even? So then another tunnel rat has to go in and recoup the body.
I believe so.
Because it makes you wonder how many they would send in because you really can't help anybody. Whoever's first, if you're just, like a train in there.
I don't know exactly what happened, but I kind of wonder if he was just had to stay in there for a while until it was safe enough to rescue him.
How old was he when he died?
Gosh.
Did it say? I can't remember.
I don't have his dates on this paper, but he was young.
Well, yeah.
And I didn't.
Was he even 20 yet?
I think I showed a picture of him on our show we did about veterans one time.
I don't
think I went into his whole story.
I feel like he wasn't even 20 years old yet.
I don't think he was either.
I think he might have been 19 when he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
So when you drive down Worthey Street, it's definitely, that's I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's sad. I mean, it's really sad that he gave his life like that, but that he volunteered. Like he really was a hero because he didn't get forced into being a tunnel rat. He volunteered to do it, knowing that it was a job that he could do, and he felt like he could do it well.
Yeah. Could you imagine being his mother, knowing he was doing that? I would have had to not know.
I would have preferred to have not known. I hope that she didn't know until later.
Yeah.
And I would also like
that he was doing that job. I can't fathom that.
I wonder how many soldiers the United States lost in those tunnels.
Oh, I bet a lot.
And I wonder. I am betting those tunnels are all still there.
Oh, they probably are.
I wonder if the Vietnamese people still use them. I mean, not for reasons like that, but I don't know. They may have homes and things down there if they have that such secure tunnel system.
I know, but you'd never get any. I mean, it'd be horrible.
Maybe they use it as prison. There's an idea.
It could be.
I don't know.
I don't know. And on that note, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Jimmy Order Lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, Give me all your guns, too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We were just discussing on our break about the size of Vietnam and that whole radius thing being 200 miles, like the article says. The square miles of Vietnam, the country itself, is only 128,000 square miles. So for it to be 200, well, it was 200 square miles instead of 200.
But you said there was
but
like
I don't know that it was.
loops.
It was maybe like as big as that picture made it look. I think it was more of like lots of turns and loops in it. So I don't know.
Looks like Ty's pulling something up.
Yeah,
What'd you just find?
He may find a picture of how these tunnels look.
Holy Moses!
Take a
Oh,
picture.
my Lanta.
Oh, yeah, I knew they said there was different levels and different valves. Okay,
my
this is a
gosh.
typical tunnel complex. Okay, so, wow.
Concealed
So no wonder
trap
there's
door
different-
entrance.
Uh-huh.
Ventilation, that's good.
Yep.
What's that say? You got better.
Punji stake
punji
trap.
stake
some
trap.
kind of trap. Conference chamber. Conical air raid shelter that also amplified sound of approaching aircraft. Well, that's clever. Dien Bien Phu kitchen. Okay, remote smoke outlets.
Look look at the water table down there.
Uh-huh.
That would not be cool if you see the little guy hanging on getting the water. If you fell down that shaft, you ain't coming back up.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That was the well. Wow.
Connecting tunnel to rest of system. Storage
cache for weapons, explosives, and
rice. Tunnel drop is blast wall. Sleeping chambers. What's that one on the far left? Forward aid station for wounded.
Wow. How interesting that they had such a amazing little system under the ground.
I mean, it's actually genius.
It is. But I just think.
Oh, did you see the one on the far right? There's a booby trap grenade and then a false tunnel. You think you're going.
And I think it would be dangerous even for the Viet Cong to remember where they're going. Because I think once you get under there, all those tunnels probably start to look alike.
How would you know which way you were going?
I don't know. I wonder if they had some kind of markings on the walls that meant something to them.
Well, yeah, just like I said, if you're coming from the one tunnel, you know, where the guy is like the straight shot getting the water, seriously, if you fell off into that, you know what I'm saying? You would definitely.
Yeah, I mean, this really put them at an advantage for sure.
That's impressive.
And can you imagine being David Worthey and crawling into that?
No.
Not knowing what if you arrived, what if you started crawling in and you arrived in their conference chamber and it was full of officers with guns, or you crawled through and all of a sudden you were in a sleeping chamber and there was 30 men in there with guns.
Yeah.
You know, wowzers.
Because wherever he dropped in at, there's people.
Yep.
Almost, yeah. Mm-hmm. That is, thanks, Ty. That's pretty cool.
That's
I've never even
cool.
seen that. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like that visual. That was a good visual.
Yes, that was
awesome.
That was good. So anyway, that's the story of David Worthey and why we have Worthey Street in Flora, and I don't know.
Yeah,
good story.
And I'm assuming he's
buried at Elmwood Cemetery.
Buried at Elmwood.
Mm-hmm. He's buried at Elmwood, and we covered him in one of the early cemetery tours. Mm-hmm. Now the cemetery tour is coming up soon. It's always in September, and that is Shadows of Elmwood, and we talk about people that are buried in Elmwood Cemetery and how their importance to the history of our county and stuff. And his was a great story, but the one coming up this year is the best of.
Yes.
And because this is the 10th or 11th year, and we're
15. Isn't this 15?
Oh,
or am I losing it? No, I think this is number 15.
No kidding. Wow.
I feel like it is, but I could be.
Okay.
God knows I've been way off base before, but I feel like it is, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, this one I pulled his story from was 2015, and
well, Connor,
was that the first? That wasn't even the first year. I think 2014 was maybe the first year.
So I bet it's 10 years.
Okay,
it's got to be one of those.
Yeah. So anyway, they're doing a best of, and there were people that voted. I mean, you could have voted, and on which ones over the last years were your favorite skits, and I'm pretty sure that the story of David Worthey was on the list of things you could vote from. I don't know if it was picked. I'm not involved with the planning.
We don't
of that,
know what we're doing yet, do we? What we've been picked to do?
No, but it's possible you could see that skit again at this year's cemetery tour.
If you don't come to the cemetery tour, you should come.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It really is.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's all about history, and history comes to life before your very eyes.
It absolutely does.
Yes.
And speaking of a little bit of history here, I've got a hometown journal.
Okay.
And this is the Journey to the Past. It's the cornerstone by one of my favorite people in the entire world, and that's Bill Oliver.
Bill Oliver.
I loved Bill Oliver, and he was a fantastic writer. And he owned the Hometown Journal, and that's where this paper comes from. And Beth actually wrote a little bit with the Hometown Journal, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I had a column back
and your
in
mother,
the day.
Your mother did
Yep.
too?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to go through this. We're going to just end our show on an article here from 1922. There was a huge fire in Flora. It was one of the worst fires in Flora's history, and it happened on Wednesday, July 26, 1922, around 2 p.m., when a blaze was discovered in the southeastern part of Senator H.M. Dunlap's big cider mill south of the B&O Railroad tracks.
There's a lot of things in there I have questions about. First of all, we had a senator that
That's
lived
what
here.
it said. Yep.
Okay, we had a senator.
So
here.
I need to mark that one, so we'll look him up.
And he owned a mill, a cider mill.
South of the B&O Railroad tracks.
South of the B&O Railroad, okay.
The fire department arrived on the scene and used water and chemicals on the fire and, for a few minutes, had the blaze under control among the sulfur sacks downstairs. Then flames broke out upstairs among 3 carloads of peach baskets, nearly 10,000 of them.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
10,000 peach baskets?
Right, exactly. Which furnished so much kindling that the firemen found it impossible to save the cider mill.
Oh, my.
So it was a cider mill.
Were they making peach cider, I guess? But is that
I
a
don't
thing?
know. We know that we do the apple orchard, but
yeah, well,
I
I think that Simpson Fruit Company, they dealt in other fruits, not just apples.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Very interesting.
Wow.
Attention was then placed on the Flora Seed and Milling Company building adjoining on the west. However, when flames from the cider mill roof leaped to the top of the mill, it became a mass of flames.
Oh, boy.
It began to appear that even the B&O freight depot would burn, but valiant work by the firemen prevented its destruction.
Wow.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'd never heard this story. B&O freight cars on 3 sidings were moved by a switch engine, which not before some of them were on fire.
Some of the engines or some of the cars?
Some of the cars.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, that really was a big fire. Those buildings must have been really close to the tracks. I mean,
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
I have a feeling there was like a whole line of them right next to the tracks.
Wow,
I remember one. The Briscoe Farm Store was right there on the tracks. There, it's gone now. Right behind where Crusade Enterprises was at on the opposite side. It was a really cool store.
Okay.
Large pieces of burning debris were carried by strong winds, and these flames greatly endangered the store buildings on the North Avenue. Sparks began to fall on the roofs and eventually landed on the house occupied by Ed Williams, manager of the local Sexton factory. Mrs. Williams managed to get a ladder and extinguish the flames before any major damage was done.
Well, look at her being all brave.
Right?
She gets a ladder and just puts out the fire that was getting onto her building. Okay.
Yep. Damage to the Flora Seed and Milling Company, which was owned by a Louisville, Kentucky corporation, was estimated to be around $30,000. Senator Dunlap, I'm right on the crease, guys. Senator Dunlap suffered the greatest loss. He carried $2,000 insurance on the building, but nothing on the contents, including the large amounts of machinery inside the building. The loss was placed at nearly $18,000.
Holy cow, I bet he was wishing he would have bought more insurance.
Right. Also damaged in the blaze was the Walton and Nail Junk Shop building located east of the J.O. Tibbs Warehouse. See, I've never heard of some of these places. We got to look these up. The cameraman of the local Orpheum Theater took pictures of the fire scenes, and they were sent to Fox News Weekly for reproduction in some 700 movie shows.
What? Wow.
Those films were expected to reach Flora in about a week.
Okay.
Who's in shock right now?
Well, okay,
Oh my gosh!
So they videoed some of it, and then they sent this footage of the incredible fire to Hollywood to use in movies where they needed footage of fire. And then within a week, it was already back to Flora? They put it on a movie? What?
I don't know. But we need to investigate that story more.
That's pretty cool. So if you're watching an old movie from the 1920s and there's a big fire, could have been right here in Flora.
Could have been right here in Flora.
Wow.
That was a pretty cool article.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard of that junk store. A senator. So we got to look him up.
Yeah. I bet he didn't stick around because I never heard of him.
I'd never heard of him either, but we got to pay attention now.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we just clicked on more show ideas. Okay, I love this next quote. We're going to end.
Okay, we
always end on a fun quote here. I love this too because this is totally me. Nothing has to happen for me to feel good. I feel good because I'm alive. Life is a gift, and I revel in it.
Yep.
By Anthony Robbins.
Good job, Anthony Robbins. You're talking about me right there.
Nothing has to happen for me to feel good.
Just happy to be here.
Just happy to be here. Like we say, how many times do we say that? As long as you wake up and you're doing good, and I like that quote.
Troubles come and go. This too shall pass. But
this too shall pass.
But be happy when you wake up in the morning that you're here.
Don't worry.
Be happy.
Be happy. You know, that song got on my nerves.
I know. Well, now that you have started singing it, the rest of us, me included, and everybody out there that's watching, we're going to be singing it all day. So,
by the way, you're welcome. You're welcome. But anyway, Friday, Saturday night, the Nostalgia Theater show. It happened on Route 66, 7 p.m. You can get tickets at the door. You do not want to miss this show, and it's for a fantastic cause, renovating the Old Town Theater.
So anyway, we will catch you next time. Thanks for joining us.
All right. You have a great day, and God bless you.